Historical Reconstruction of Aryan X. Episode 29, The Secret of Gaecheon, Gaecheon, which opened the heavens, and the birth of Buddhism. It seems that people around the world are completely unaware of the true nature of Buddhism. Of course, even in the majority of Asian countries known as Buddhist nations, the truth of Buddhism remains unknown. On this occasion, I will reveal the truth and essence of Buddhism. Do you know what Bulgyo, the bright teaching that is the core of Eastern thought, Yugyo, imbued with the ideas of Confucius, and Sengyo, the mystical teaching, have in common? The common Chinese character included in Bul, Yu, and Sen, which are known as Eastern thought, is the character for person, in. This means that Yubul Sen, or Eastern thought, is centered on the person. The Christian concept of an absolute creator God, as you know it, does not exist in Eastern thought. The Bul in Bulgyo means bright teaching, and the place names based on this character, Bul, are the very names that appear in countries and regions around the world, such as Berg, Sk, Va, Do, Bal, Per, and Par. Before delving into the core of the bright teaching of Buddhism, I will once again show you an example of how religion has been manipulated. First, I will reveal the true identity of the Messiah, the Savior who appears in modern European Christianity. Around 3800 BC, the Bodhisattva who moved from Central Asia west to Georgia in Europe was Muduk Bosal. Muduk Bosal is called Maitreya in Sanskrit, Mateya in Pali, and Messiah, Mithra, Misra, or Miro in English. According to encyclopedias, Muduk Bosal, Maitreya in Sanskrit, Mateya in Pali, is a bodhisattva who is believed in Buddhism to be the future savior, who is currently a bodhisattva but will appear as a Buddha in the next world. According to Buddhist doctrine, he received a prophecy to become the Buddha who will save all sentient beings who could not be saved by Gautama Buddha, under the Yonghwasu like dragon flower tree. The Pali word Mateya is cognate with Messiah, and its meaning is also future savior. What does this mean? Is this not the Messiah of modern Christianity? And the meaning is the same, savior? Aha! The Catholic and Christian papacy in Europe actually signified the papal office of the Buddhist Muduk Bosal. The Messiah of Christianity was none other than the Muduk Bosal who had moved westward. Christianity is called Christ. The cry here is the Kori of Korea, as was said before. Korea was previously a Buddhist nation, not the Christian nation it is today. This is the truth. The primordial culture of all races in Central Asia, the cradle of humanity, is the Shinsen culture of the Scythian Aryans. This Shinsen culture is also the bright teaching of Bulgyo and the ideology of Confucius, Yugyo. In other words, Bulgyo, the bright teaching, is the primordial culture of humanity, not a teaching that began with Shakyamuni Buddha. The ancestors of humanity moved from Central Asia, the cradle of humanity, to various regions and settled down. From before 10,000 BC, the era of Hwanguk or Hwanin continued until a groundbreaking event that would become a cornerstone of human history occurred in the cradle of humanity in Central Asia around 3897 BC. We will examine this historical content through Korea's founding myth, citing the Samguk Yusa like a history book written by monk Kata. Long ago, Hwanung, a bright man, and the son of Hwanin, the leader of the bright nation of Hwanguk in Kazakhstan, often set his eyes on the world and coveted the human realm. His father, Hwanin, the leader of humanity, knew his son's will. Looking down upon Samwi Tabek of Baekdao Mountain, the spiritual mountain of humanity in Central Asia, he saw that it was a place where humans could be widely benefited. He immediately gave 3 chambuin, signifying the leader of humanity, and sent him down to rule the human world. The bright man Hwanung, who became the leader of humanity, led a host of 3,000 and descended to the top of Taibeksan in Central Asia, the Diamond Mountain, also known in history as Myohyangsan, under a sacred tree, the Shindansu. This place was called Shinshi, the mystical land, the stage for Gaecheon, which opened the heavens. It was also called Soul, the soul of the entire world. This figure is called Hwanung Chenwang, the bright and luminous king of heaven. He governed and enlightened the world, leading the Pongbak, who studied the wind, the Usa, who studied the rain, and the Unsa, who studied the clouds, and oversaw more than 360 human affairs, including grains, life, disease, punishment, and good and evil. The place where the Hwanguk of Hwanin, the leader of humanity, existed was present-day Kazakhstan. The place where his son descended to widely benefit humanity was Central Asia, the ancient cradle of humanity to which he returned where his ancestors had been. Let's infer the time of this return to Central Asia, the cradle of humanity. Citing the Hwandangogi like a history book. From the time the heavens were opened in the mystical land, 18 generations passed, that is, 1,565 years, until Dongun Wangum was finally born. Through this content from the Hwandangogi, we can calculate the time of the return from Kazakhstan to Turkmenistan. The accession of Emperor Dongun, the progenitor of the separation of state and religion, was in 2333 BC. The opening of the heavens by Hwanum Chenwang, the bright and luminous king of heaven, who returned from Kazakhstan to Central Asia, occurred 1,565 years before this. That is, the opening of the heavens by Hwanum Chenwang occurred in 3897 BC. This figure, who opened the heavens around 3897 BC, is called Hwanung Chenwang, the bright and luminous king of heaven. Who could this person be in history? When you go to a Buddhist temple today, the building erected at the entrance is the gate of the four heavenly kings, like Chenwang, who are four enlightened beings. And the protagonist who opened the heavens in the mystical land of Central Asia around 3897 BC is also called Chenwang from Hwanung Chenwang, the bright and luminous king of heaven. The fact is, Dayung, the protagonist of the Dayungjan, where the main Buddha is enshrined in modern Buddhism, is none other than Hwanung, from the Korean myth of Hwanung Chenwang. The protagonist of the main hall of Buddhism is Dayung, with a greatly bright meaning. The protagonist who opened the heavens in Korean mythology is also Hwanung, with a bright and luminous meaning. Dayung and Hwanung have the same meaning, and while Ung can be interpreted as male, it also has a bright meaning. Angkor Wat, Ankara, Montmartre, Mont Saint-Michel, and the Ung and Mung in Mongolia all derive from Ung, meaning a bright person. Furthermore, the bear that appears in the mythology of the Celts who migrated to Europe and the bear in Korean mythology were the bright ones, Dayung and Hwanung. The Scythian Aryans, people of the world, did not have teachings so backward to use a living animal, the bear, as a totem. Celts, take heed. The bear of your history is the brightness of the Buddha, the main figure of Buddhism. Buddhism is the bright teaching. In other words, it is not a belief held by a few countries in the East, but the Shinsen culture of all humanity and the essence of the Scythian Aryan culture. That is why at the beginning, I revealed the truth that the savior Messiah of European Christian culture was none other than the Buddhist Mudok Bosal. Now, then, in episode 27, I mentioned that in the Yuyak, the core of Eastern thought, there are the 5 directional colors of East, West, South, North, and Center, and that the directions of these colors correspond exactly to the directions of human migration. I quote again. Migration of humanity. The West is white, the East is blue, the South is red, the North is black and yellow. But directions of the Yuyak. The center is yellow, the West is white, the East is blue, the East is blue, the South is red, the North is black. Please think about this slowly and slowly. In the Yuyak of Eastern thought, colors are also assigned to the directions of East, West, South, North, and Center. This is called the Obang-sek, the 5 directional colors in the Yuyak. Now, let's look at the Obang-sek of the Yuyak. Center is yellow, West is white, East is blue, South is red, North is black. However, when comparing the colors of human migration with the Obang-sek of the Yuyak, the West being white, East being blue, and South being red match exactly. But in the Yuyak of Eastern thought, the center is said to be yellow, while the Hwangung clan of the yellow color was said to have moved north, and the north in the Yuyak is said to be black. There is a secret hidden here. That is, in the Korean geography book Sinjun Donggukyoji Singnam, it is stated that yellow and black are in the same position. In other words, the yellow of the Hwangung clan who went north can also be black. And as the yellow of the Hwangung clan who went north returned to Central Asia around 3897 BC, the Obang-sek for the 5 directions of the Yuyak of Eastern thought was completed. Now, let's look at the Obang-sek of the Yuyak again. Center is yellow, West is white, East is blue, South is red, North is black. We can see that the migration of humanity is accurately represented by the Obang-sek of the Yuyak. Thus, the central point of human history was in the Yuyak of Eastern thought. The birthplace of Shakyamuni Buddha, the beginning of Buddhism, was present-day Kazakhstan. He moved from there back to Central Asia and saved the world with the spirit of Hongik Ingan to widely benefit humanity and compassion. Therefore, the Buddha, the origin of Buddhism, was born not in present-day India but in the Korea of Central Asia. The Buddha, the origin of Buddhism, means bright, and this person is not only the ancestor of Koreans but the ancestor of all races in the world. I sincerely hope you will know this truth. In the next episode, I will reveal what religion is, as well as the system of Jongga, like head family, and Jokbo, like genealogy, which exists uniquely in Korea in the whole world. I sincerely hope that you contact many people and participate in this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The heavens and the earth will tremble. The subtitle language can be translated into the language of each country, so please make use of it. If there are any issues, please contact me via comments or Google Mail. My Google Mail address is aryanrealhistory@gmail.com. The YouTube video addresses are Historical Reconstruction of Aryan or History Restoration of Aryan. Everyone, your subscriptions and likes are your conscience and passion for the truth, so please do not forget.